So I opened Instagram for 5 minutes this morning, and now I hate everything about my life. My job feels mediocre. My apartment looks like it was decorated by a blind raccoon, and apparently everyone I've ever known is suddenly married, successful, and owns a lake house and has glowing skin that was probably filtered through the lens of Satan himself. Meanwhile, I'm out here debating if eating cereal with a fork makes me innovative or just clinically depressed. Welcome to Comparison, where someone else's curated highlight reel makes you feel like an underachieving, aging dumpster fire in real time. And it's not just online. No. This little game of self-worth Jenga follows us everywhere. At work, family dinners, at weddings, where everyone asks, "So when's it your turn?" Like it's a damn Hunger Games reaping. I don't volunteer as tribute. We compare trauma like it's a competition. We compare success like it has an expiration date. And we compare healing, for God's sakes, like, "Oh wow, you only went to therapy once this week? Cute. I've cried in 3 different parking lots and journaled about my father wound twice." So today on Brutally Human, we're throwing comparison under the bus and backing over it twice. We're unpacking why we feel like we're never enough, how social media is slowly cooking our brains, and why someone else's win isn't your failure. Because you're not behind. You're not even on the same damn racetrack. And maybe, just maybe, the only person you ever needed to catch up with was yourself. So let's talk about it. So you open up Facebook to check in on your friends, and 5 minutes later, you're questioning every life choice you've ever made. Wow, Chad just bought a house. Sarah just got engaged. Again. That guy I went to high school with is now a motivational speaker with a 6-pack and a Jeep. And me? I just Googled, "Can you microwave a spoon?" because I am not okay and caffeine is no longer doing its job. See, this is how it starts. One innocent scroll turns into a full-blown identity crisis. Your brain starts doing this thing where it convinces you you're somehow falling behind in a race no one told you you were running. Suddenly you're 31, employed, and wondering if your ex's new partner has better credit. Probably. And let's be real. You know what you're looking at isn't real. You know the lighting is fake. The captions are curated, and those candid moments took 47 tries and a mental breakdown to get right. But your brain? Your brain doesn't care, because comparison doesn't operate in logic. It operates in insecurity. It zooms in on every flaw, every missed milestone, every moment you felt like you weren't enough, and says, "See, told you so." And social media is the most efficient emotional torture device since Catholic guilt. It gives you a 24/7 reel of people's best moments while you're sitting on your couch unshowered trying to convince yourself that string cheese is an acceptable dinner choice and nobody is going to tell me different. And it's not just about envy. It's about how deeply rooted our self-worth is in the illusion that we're supposed to be somewhere else by now. Somewhere prettier, richer, smarter, healthier, less messy. Basically, someone else. We don't just compare jobs or bodies. We compare healing. Oh, you had a breakthrough in therapy? I'm still dissociating in every target I enter. But yay for growth. And somehow we feel like that makes us less than. Like our struggle isn't valid because someone else is healing prettier. But here's what no one tells you. Comparison is a liar. It doesn't make you better, it makes you bitter. It turns self-awareness into self-judgment. It takes your journey and slaps someone else's GPS on it. And worst of all, it keeps you distracted from what actually matters. Your own progress, your own growth, your own damn story. So if you've been spiraling lately, wondering why everyone else seems to be thriving while you're just trying not to cry on a Tuesday, just know they're spiraling too. They're just better at choosing the right filter. Next up, we're heading into the Trauma Olympics. You know, the emotional cage match where no one wins, but everyone insists on comparing whose life hurts more. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about a sport nobody asked to compete in, but everyone somehow enrolled in. The Trauma Olympics. You know the drill. You open up about something painful. Say, hey, I've really been struggling lately. And before the words can even leave your mouth, someone else chimes in with, oh, you think you're struggling? I bet it way worse. Ma'am, this isn't a competition. It's a confession. Just sit down. Somewhere we've turned pain into a pissing contest. You're anxious? I have anxiety attacks daily. You lost your job? I lost mine and my relationship and my dog during a blizzard. You got ghosted? Please. I got married, had a child, and then left for someone in a pyramid scheme. Like, damn, can I feel things without filing an emotional insurance claim? And listen, I get it. Sometimes we compare because it helps us minimize our pain. If someone else has it worse, maybe I shouldn't complain. Maybe your trauma doesn't feel valid enough to mention. Maybe you're afraid of being dramatic or too sensitive, or, God forbid, human. But here's the brutal truth, babe. Pain is not a contest. There is no gold medal for suffering the most. You don't have to win some invisible battle of who's the most broken to earn the right to feel. You're allowed to be sad, even if someone else has it worse. You're allowed to hurt, even if your life looks good on paper. You're allowed to grieve whatever the hell you lost, even if someone else's grief looks bigger, messier, or more cinematic. And by the way, let's stop minimizing our pain with that at least nonsense. At least I have a roof over my head. At least I still have my health. At least I didn't die. Baby, those are bare minimums. You can be grateful and still want better. You can be blessed and still be burnt out. Because comparison, even in pain, is still a trap. It doesn't foster empathy. It breeds disconnection. It makes us look like we have to earn our sadness. And the only thing worse than being in pain is feeling like you don't have the right to express it. So let's call a truce. No more trauma measuring contests. No more who has it worse debates. If you're hurting, you're allowed to say it. No disclaimers, no comparison, no ranking. In the next segment, we're tossing the whole timeline myth out the window. Because, baby, you're not behind. You're just not living their story. And guess what? That's a good thing. So let's go there. You ever get that random wave of anxiety where you're just suddenly aware you're supposed to be somewhere else in life? Like you wake up on a Tuesday, scroll through someone's engagement photos, and suddenly your cup of coffee tastes like failure. Society told us there's a timeline. Graduate by 22, career by 25, marriage by 28, house by 30, kids by however long it takes before your ovaries get insulted by your gynecologist. But here's the plot twist. That timeline, it wasn't made for you. It was made for a version of life that doesn't exist anymore. We're out here trying to live on a script written in 1952, and meanwhile, we're just trying to pay rent, manage our mental health, and remember our passwords. And don't even get me started on comparing timelines to other people. Because Some people really be out here acting like they invented stability. You'll be out here healing your childhood trauma, surviving back-to-back grief cycles, and building yourself from scratch. Meanwhile, Karen just bought her third house and posted a boomerang of her charcuterie board with the caption, "God is good." Cool, Karen. I'm over here trying to decide if I can emotionally handle shampooing my hair today. Let's make something crystal clear. You're not behind. You're not broken. You are not late. You're just on a track that doesn't look like theirs. And that's not only okay, it's necessary. Because if you got what someone else had, you'd also get what they don't post about. The panic attacks behind the curated content, the resentment in the marriage no one talks about, the debt, the pressure, the burnout. You don't know the full story. You're comparing your in progress to their highlight reel. And some of y'all don't need motivation. You need recalibration. You need to stop asking, why haven't I made it yet? And start asking, who told me I wasn't already enough? Because if success was just money, milestones, and followers, half of y'all wouldn't still feel hollow after you get those things. What you need isn't a deadline, it's direction. What you need isn't to catch up, it's to wake up and realize your story is unfolding exactly the way it was supposed to. So the next time someone hits a milestone and you start spiraling, just pause, breathe, and remind yourself that that's their track. Mine just has a few more scenic detours. And guess what? Most of the real stuff, the deep healing, the real love, the clarity, it happens off track. And the mess, and the reroutes, and the parts of the story nobody claps for, but matter the most. Coming up next, we're diving into how to stop feeding the comparison monster. Because if we're being honest, most of us are voluntarily letting that thing live rent-free in our heads. So let's starve it out together. All right, we've dragged the comparison monster through the mud. Now let's talk about how to evict that damn thing from your brain. Because whether it shows up as social media envy, career FOMO, or why do all my exes seem happier without me syndrome, comparison doesn't just mess with your confidence. It steals your clarity. So how do we stop feeding it? Well, step 1, curate your damn feed. If every time you open your phone you feel like garbage, your phone isn't the problem. Your algorithm is. You are allowed to mute, unfollow, or block anyone who makes you question your worth. Yes, even if they're nice. Yes, even if you went to high school with them. Yes, especially if it's that girl who sells essential oils and swears she's a 6-figure boss babe when she hasn't really had a job since Vine shut down. Protect your peace. Your brain is not a landfill for other people's filtered flexes. Step 2. Gratitude, but not that toxic kind. Not that, well, at least I'm not homeless, guilt-ridden gratitude. I'm talking about real, grounded, present gratitude. Stuff like, I'm grateful I made it through this week without a full emotional breakdown. I'm grateful for my weird little sense of humor and the way I can still laugh even when my life sucks. I'm grateful for these sweatpants that haven't judged me once. Gratitude isn't pretending life is perfect. It's about reminding yourself it isn't all trash. Because when you notice what's working, you stop obsessing over what isn't. Step 3, celebrate your wins loudly. I don't care if it's small. Did you make your bed today? Flex it. Went to therapy? King. Didn't text your ex even though Mercury's in retrograde and your playlist got emotional? You deserve a trophy. You don't need a baby announcement or a 6-figure salary to be proud of your damn self. Every time you celebrate yourself, you're reminding your brain that your life matters. Even if no one likes it. Especially them. Step 4. Separate identity from achievement. You are not your income. You are not your relationship status. You are not your productivity level. You are a complex, brilliant, emotionally unstable bag of stardust trying to heal and thrive in a world built to make you feel like you're always one step behind. And guess what? You're not behind. You're just human. Comparison is loud, but your truth is louder. You just gotta turn the volume up. And if you ever forget how, I'll remind you. Because if no one else is gonna gas you up for surviving this hellstorm called life, I will. Every damn time. Now what do you say we bring it on home? Here's the truth, babe. You were never supposed to look like anyone else. You weren't built for their path, their timeline, their filtered feed. You were built for yours. And yeah, comparison is easy. It's addicting. It's sneaky. It slips in when you're scrolling or catching up with someone you haven't seen in years, or just minding your business in a moment of silence. And then suddenly you're questioning everything about your existence because someone else seems to be doing better. But their win, it's not your loss. Their marriage doesn't mean you're unlovable. Their six-pack doesn't mean your body is invalid. Their highlight reel doesn't erase your life. And if no one's told you this lately, you're allowed to be proud of where you are. You're allowed to move at your own pace. You're allowed to be the slow burn, the late bloomer, the one whose story takes time. Because the ones that take time are the ones that last. Next week, we're getting even realer and possibly more unhinged because we're asking the uncomfortable question, am I the toxic one? What happens when the problem is you? We're going to hold up a mirror, take a deep breath, and lovingly roast ourselves into a better version of who we thought we were. So bring a drink, maybe a therapist, definitely a sense of humor. Until then, do you, but this time do it with honesty, boundaries, and a little bit of grace. I love you, I see you, and I'll see you next week. Good night.